Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Mr. Long Island. My name is Michael Watt, aka Mr. Long Island, and each week we get together and we discuss issues and organizations that benefit the region, and we shine a spotlight on good things being done on behalf of fellow Long Islanders. This week our guest is Chris Croken from Bethpage Federal Credit Union. Chris, thank you for joining us and welcome aboard.
My pleasure.
Bethpage Federal Credit Union, the former credit union for Grumman, and there's a reason I bring that up. Walk us through, though, before we get too deep into what Bethpage is all about, walk us through the big difference between credit unions and banks.
Sure. A credit union is, like we are, is a non-for-profit cooperative, and we're member-owned. So what happens is the profit that we make, we return back to our members in the form of better rates, better service. So really, we're all about our members.
And it's a totally different mindset. You know, a for-profit bank is just that. It's an operation for-profit because you're a not-for-profit and you're member-owned. The fees are lower. There's no checking account fees, things like that.
We're in solely for our membership. So we want to take care of them in the best way we can. So we do that with service. We do that with better rates, better convenience. That a lot of people are not aware of.
And there's also a mindset, and that's why I brought up the Grumman connection, because Grumman was famous for being a great company to work for and a great corporate citizen. And Bethpage has kind of accepted that mantle and moved forward on that. For instance, very involved in Island Harvest, for instance. Mm-hmm. Talk to us a little bit about that, how that's different.
Sure. We were the exclusive credit union of Grumman. And then, so from 1941 up to 2003, our charter opened up to the island. So if you lived, worked, worshipped, or went to school on Long Island, you had the ability to become a member of Bethpage. But we were the exclusive financial institution for Grumman employees to take care of them as members.
So you're able to expand the net, so to speak. And when you say you become a member, you really it's a technical term. It's just you go to the bank, you fill out a form, mm-hmm. and you're part of the group.
Correct. If you have a $5 share account or $5 savings account with us, that would give you the access of anything Bethpage, whether it's a loan or even be counseled by our financial counselor.
And I want to get back to, because Bethpage does such a terrific job of being a corporate citizen. I know, like Thanksgiving, for instance, you work hand in hand with Island Harvest. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Correct. Yeah. Well, for many years, we've had a great one of many partnerships. We created the Turkey Drive, mm-hmm. with Island Harvest. Last year, 2,500 families were benefited from the efforts of Island Harvest, the community, volunteers, and Bethpage employees.
Well, it's funny because they had the collection was in the parking lot at the Bethpage corporate headquarters. And there's so many Bethpage employees, they look like they were having fun, which I think really reflects well on the organization.
It was genuine, enjoyment to help others. It's the gift that keeps on giving there.
And branch-wise now, obviously you started in Bethpage and you're in throughout Nassau and Suffolk County?
There's 33 branches in between Elmont and Riverhead and everywhere in between.
And also, because you're a credit union, you can use like the ATMs at 7-Eleven without fees?
Correct. 7-Eleven, King Cullen, CVS, Walgreens on the island. And even outside of there, you have 30,000 ATMs across the U.S.
And just to be clear, anything you can get from a bank, you can get from a credit union?
Correct. More or less, we have everything that a bank has. We look, taste, and have everything a bank does with the exception of a student loan.
Oh, that's interesting. Car loans, business loan. Now, you also just started a business, so we're going to get into that, the corporate aspect of it. But we're going to take a quick break. But that was great. I'm glad you explained to us because I'm sure you hear it all the time. What's the difference between a bank and a credit mm-hmm. union? And I think it's something if people had better knowledge of that, they'd be more comfortable going to a place like Bethpage. This has been Ask Mr. Long Island. I guess is Chris Croken. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about Chris's program working with small businesses on Long Island. You're watching Ask Mr. Long Island.